Okay, Stone, we know why having room mics are really, really important. We also know that if these are out of time, that's really, really bad. So how do we actually do that?
Man, this is a big topic. We've hit it before. You can go back and watch those videos and get all the pre-info on this. But the first thing you got to do, we got to make sure that our PA is time aligned correctly in the room. So why would that relate to recording? It relates to everything. So if you've got your, let's take your drum kit. Usually it's the loudest thing on stage, right? You get your drum kit and your PA. If those both aren't arriving to people's ears at exactly the right time, you're off right from the start. Would you agree with that?
Totally.
So how many of us, though, set up the drum kit immediately in line with the PA, like directly underneath it? That means your drum kit would be on the front edge of the stage?
No one.
Not going to happen. Your drums are usually, in your room, it's probably a little shallower, but it's still like 20,
10, 12 feet.
10, 12,
Yeah,
10, 12
sorry.
feet.
A few milliseconds anyway.
Yeah, but a big stage, sometimes it could be 35 feet away from the PA or something.
Yep.
So the idea is you've first got to get your PA delayed back to the loudest thing happening on stage.
Yeah.
If the loudest thing is your floor wedges, okay, then figure that out. So you're trying to make your PA appear to the listener as if it went farther away from them.
And not just the listener, those mics that we've now put
The
out in the room.
microphones. So that's the whole thing. So you start with that, you've got to get that sorted out and get that going. So let's assume we've got that figured out.
Yep.
Time to lay your PA. And I promise you that is a known function. If you've never addressed it, find a professional near you and they'll tell you how to do it. This is not some secret.
Yeah.
This is what everybody does to get this sorted out.
Physics is not only a good idea, it's the law.
It's the law. You can't change it. So we've got that going. Now, if you've got different sets of room mics or audience mics, Lee and I do it a little different way, but it's all essentially getting the same thing.
And even if you have multiple sets of mics, they all need to be hearing the source at the same time.
At the same time.
Right.
So here's the trick. The microphones you're putting up in your room that are farthest away from the PA, so in this case, let's say you put up a mic or two right next to you at the audio console. Let's say you're 100 feet away from your PA. That would be a really big room.
Yeah.
But 100 feet away from the PA. Those mics is what everything else time aligns to.
Got
So
it.
it's a little backwards than what you would think. You automatically assume we're trying to timeline everything to your speakers. It's not. It's the farthest source that's picking up the content.
So whatever microphone hears everything last,
That's right.
that becomes your zero.
That's right. So if you have, so in our room, we have room mics that are by the console, and then we have some audience mics that are hanging from the catwalk, like we talked about. Those are like halfway in the room.
Yeah.
And then we have the time-aligned PA. So you got to figure out the timing difference between those audience mics and the PA and get them all to appear that they were being heard at the exact same time as the room mics heard them.
And just to
So-
clarify, we're not talking about delaying the PA. We're talking about delaying the sends for the broadcast,
Or
for the
your
board
recording.
mix, for the recording.
Once you got your PA time aligned, you're done with that. Now we're talking about strictly the stuff you're doing inside the box that's going to go to your new mix.
So tell me about all those balloons I saw backstage.
Right. We are not drug mules. That is not what we have them for. They actually have a purpose. But a long time ago, I had an acoustician that was working in a room trying to help me figure out what kind of acoustic treatment to put in a space. And he was using these medical grade balloons, like just white balloons. And I didn't know there was a medical grade balloon, but there it is. And he was taking them, blowing them up, and he had them all laying on the floor, inflated and tied off. And he had a pin. And he was using it with a meter and all that, and he was using these balloons and popping them. And I watched him do this from afar thinking, I am totally gonna get fired because I've hired this deranged lunatic
You hired a clown.
that's playing with balloons, and he's, Bozo is over there doing it. I asked him what it was, and he said a balloon was one of the few things that could give him a natural source that was almost the same amplitude every single time he hit it.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's cool. So I took a balloon into our space when trying to figure out this time-align situation for broadcast, put a microphone on stage, run it into your PA, right? Just like a vocal microphone. So now it's in your time-aligned PA, take the balloon and pop it. Okay. What that's gonna do is give you a sound source that comes out of your PA, and then as it travels forward, it gets picked up in your audience mics. As the sound keeps traveling forward, it gets picked up in your room mics.
So it'll get to your console first, then your PA, then the mid audience mics or shotgun mics, and then the front of house mics.
That's right. The best way for me to figure out how to do that at the time, and I don't think we had laser Dista-Gauges built yet.
Right.
So I was like, how am I gonna do this? I just recorded those sources. The microphone, the source microphone, the audience mics, and the room mics in Pro Tools, just recorded them all at the same time. It's crazy. You pop it and you actually see the impulse there all arriving at a different time, and you can easily go in and just go, oh, well, that was 42 point whatever milliseconds. And then that one was 80 whatever milliseconds. Boom, there's your time. The easiest way we've ever done it, and it's dead on. You can do it any different way you want to. You could use a tape measure if you want to and do the conversion. Now they have Dista-Gauges and lasers and all kinds of stuff. I still kind of think the balloons are cool.
Balloons are cool.
It's really great.